Hello and welcome back. So in this video I am finally going to get this kit done. I got this of Ali for Christmas and I just didn't get around to it because we got married at the start of the year and work got a little bit busy and I was just a little bit more interested in doing some lighter patterns, some more like springy patterns, even though that this is maybe something that in warmer parts of the world it would still be quite a autumn or winter jumper, but I think for the UK it works quite well because it's a short sleeved jumper, so I think it will be perfect for the colder summer evenings here in the UK. And the kit is from We Are Knitters and it is Marzia Kjellberg that designed it, so it has this really pretty flower pattern that is on the front. So yeah, let's have a look and see what's inside this kit. So starting off we have Border Patrol, but we have this really nice dark green, which it's like almost like a forest green. It's 100% wool, it's quite soft, so not super scratchy, and it is for 8mm needles, and all of the wool that I'll be using should be the same. It's the whack wool, and yeah, it's all on 8mm needles. Then I have two of this white beige, it's like an off-white, really nice. And then we also have a pink, two balls of pink. Really nice, I love that pink actually. It's like a very soft pink. And then we have one ball of very bright red. It is, oh, I love that red so much. And then we have, what's this? Oh, we got some stickers, if you like stickers, and then, what else? Oh my god, that's so cute! There we go. So we got some sewing needles as well. They are always handy to have more of these. So it's a really thick one and a smaller one, so that's good. And we also have a little tag that we can sew on. How cute is that? That is like so much stuff. And I think you could have picked to include needles as well, but I have like a whole knitting set, like an interchangeable knitting needle set, so I don't need knitting needles, so I'm glad Ali didn't get me that. But yeah, that's quite a lot to get started with. I think the pattern was sent by PDF, so I'm going to try and find it and see if we can get started on this. So yeah, I'm very excited. So let's see how we're gonna cast on. I'll be right back. I found the pattern and I quickly did a test square as well just to make sure that my tension was okay and all of it is looking good. I'm looking at the sizing. I think I'm gonna go with a size small. So I'm a couple of centimeters away from a medium in the chest area, but I think with wearing it over time and it being like quite a chunky pattern, I think it should be okay, even if it's a little bit tight on the chest area, because I want it kind of cinched anyway at the waist. So let's see how it's gonna turn out. Anyway, I have to do my cast on and I've started already, but it doesn't actually specify what cast on method you should use. But what I'm going to do is I'll be using the cable cast on that I learned in the shorts video. So yeah, let's continue with my cast on.
Watch as it breaks down beside us. When we've risked everything for love. On the outside, always looking in. We'll still hold
Hey guys, so I have finished my garden tasks. I needed to cut the grass because it was getting a little bit long, and I had to water all my plants because it's starting to heat up a little bit more in the north, so I'm trying to keep them well hydrated before the proper heat wave, the UK heat wave kicks up again. But I did a little bit more knitting during my lunch break, so this is the back panel, by the way. So I did the ribbing portion yesterday, and then I started on this stockinette stitch portion where it's just purl knitting over and over again. And now I come to the point where I have to start shaping the armhole. And I think in 5 to 10 rows, I will be able to add in the green collar for the top section of the back. So yeah, let's see how far we can get today. I don't know if I'll be able to start on the color change, but I'm gonna try. Anyway, let's go. Okay, quickly before I'm going to bed, I have now started with the green collar on the back panel, and I have to do about 12 more rows and then I can cast off the back panel and start on the front. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that the back panel has one row that is just written a little bit weird. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just, yeah, it's probably not something that I have seen a lot of. So basically it talks through like specific decreases, and you basically have to work the row 41 to 46 in a stockinette stitch, and you have to keep in mind to the decreases. But when you get to row 34, there's a lot of numbers chucked at you, but they skip specific rows. So the ones that they don't mention in row 43, just work those in a regular like stockinette stitch. So it's, for me, it was just purl the whole row. Just to clarify, in case that you ever end up using this pattern in the future, that's kind of what that means. I hope that made sense. I don't know, I'm getting a little bit tired. But anyway, I am going to leave you here for tonight, and I will check in with you in a couple of days. Hey guys, I wanted to have a little chat with you because it's actually been a couple of days since I've last checked in with you, and that's because I got a little bit sick last week, and I was also really struggling with a migraine, and I just spent a couple of days in my bed trying to rest up and get rid of the headache. But over the weekend I started to feel a little bit better, but then we were dealing with a heat wave, and thank God it's finally raining, it's starting to cool down a little bit. And yeah, I just wanted to show you the progress I have made so far. So I did actually finish the back panel of the jumper, and I've got the armhole shaping down, and the stitches are looking really neat, so I'm quite happy with that. And I've also started on the front panel. Now, I didn't really record much of this, one because, well, I was sick and I was in bed when I was doing like knitting intermittently, but also the setup for the front panel is exactly the same as the back panel. So basically the ribbing and basically everything till row 40 is exactly the same as the back panel. And I think from then on you start decreasing, and then from row 50 you start to bring in the dark green again, but instead of having this straight line like you have in the back, you will have like this white circle here, so there's a bit more of a shape to that. And the technique that I will be using for that is called intarsia, but it's something that I haven't done before. So I have knitted collar work before, but mostly Fair Isle. So yeah, this will be interesting. I think I'll probably be learning as I go along. So yeah, bear with me. But the plan for now is I have to do 5 more rows of just general stockinette stitch, and then I can start the shaping of the armhole in the front. And then, yeah, hopefully I'll start putting in the green collar. But yeah, let's see how much we can get done tonight. Okay, so it turns out I have been a little bit of an idiot. The color chart comes in multiple sizes, and I didn't realize this until it was too late. So you have the color charts first and then the pattern. So I was following the pattern and then I scrolled up to the first available color chart, but that was the extra large and I didn't see that until it was basically 10 rows too late. So I had to take all of it back and then actually do the correct size for the color chart. So yeah, don't be like me, don't be an idiot.
Tell me these words have been misunderstood. And I only wanna be the one who told you again.
Okay, I am going to bed, but I'm a little bit frustrated because if it wasn't for me making a stupid mistake where I looked at the wrong size for the color work chart, I probably would have finished this front panel. But yeah, I had to take all of it back, as I mentioned, so at least now I have started on this color work technique, and so far it's been going pretty well. So I've been using the Nimble Needles video to learn how to do this, and I will put it in the description so you guys can give it a watch. But I think I'm gonna call it here for today because it's midnight and I'm getting a little bit tired and I have to work tomorrow. So yeah, I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Hello. So I finished the Intarsia color work section during my lunch break and it's actually looking pretty decent. I am pretty happy with how neat the stitches are looking, especially for this being my first time of trying this technique. So I am not complaining. I'm just trying to weave in the ends before I continue with basically sectioning off the neckline. But yeah, I figured I would also just take this time to have a little chat with you guys. So it was a couple weeks ago that me and my husband went to view a house that we would maybe like to buy, and we put in an offer, but sadly we weren't picked, so we didn't get it. And it's been kind of slow on the property market since. Like, there's just not really been anything that we liked until basically the end of last week. Something came on that we really liked, and the house viewings for that specific house are starting this weekend. So me and Ali are planning to drive up after work on Friday, and we're staying overnight at a friend's place so that we have basically the whole Saturday to explore the area a little bit, the streets, like see if it's nice, see what sort of, like if what shops are nearby, how the pubs are, that sort of stuff. And yeah, we'll have that house viewing, and we're also seeing a house that we're not super sure of. Like, it's quite expensive, but we figured we would just give it a look and see if it is maybe worth spending a little bit more money. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I'm just trying not to get too excited because last time we didn't get it, so I was upset that we didn't get it. And I'm now a little bit scared to get too excited because I feel like, oh, if we do like it and we put an offer in, I don't think we're gonna get picked, because I mean you're fighting against so many people that are putting in offers, and a lot of people are either older or they're retired, so they just have some more money to spend, I guess. So I don't know, I feel like it's really competitive, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's really mentally draining. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I think what I'll just probably do is I will stop rambling and I will continue with these strands. I have to do this one that I'm working on, and then I still have one more, and then we'll divide up the top so that we have the neckline ready to go as well. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit.
I wish I knew the road to you.
basically I'm just picking my bag so that we can leave to go to Helensburgh for the weekend so that we can do the house viewings. And I'm not really packing much because it's just for the weekend, but I do have like this new sort of dress shirt. It's inside out, but you get the vibe. It's just a short sleeved shirt that looks nice and neat, so I figured looking my best would maybe be a good shout. And I've got a cardigan with me in case it's a little bit cold. And I have my toiletries with my makeup and stuff. But I did want to show you something really exciting, and I don't want to show the pattern design yet, but basically I am working on making my own pattern. And I've got this really cute drawing that I want to basically have as collar work, but for the collars and the wool, it has arrived, so I'm gonna be using this wool for the pattern. And these are the colours I will be working with to design this pattern, so I can't wait until there's basically a little bit more info on it. I'm going to get it test knitted as well and graded, so hopefully in a couple months I'll be able to share this pattern with you. So yeah, bear with me while that's happening. But also on the other hand of the actual flower jumper that I'm working on at the moment, so yesterday I started on the sleeve. So this is what we got so far. So it's basically a ribbed edge right here at the bottom, and then you just basically knit one increase so that you get those like wider puffy sleeves. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. The only thing, if you are doing sleeves like that are quite puffy, be careful that your last rip stitch row for like this cuff, that you don't go too tight with your knitting, because it will get really tight when you're doing a knit one and increase, knit one and increase, because you're going in between the stitches to make a stitch, so it can get a little bit tight if you are tighter with your knitting. Anyway, I think I'll take my knitting with me because I will have a bit of downtime tonight, and maybe in the car. I don't know if I'm gonna drive or Ali, depends on who's most tired. But I'll take it with me, but I probably won't be recording too much. So you'll see me intermittently over the weekend, but I'll probably do a proper check-in on Monday. So let's go. Hey guys, so it's been a couple of days since I've seen you, but we got back from Scotland on Sunday evening and I've just been a little bit of an anxious mess since. So it's now Wednesday and I've actually finished the first sleeve and I'm really happy with how this shaped up. I tested it, well, just to make sure that it wasn't too tight or anything under the shoulders, and it's all perfect. I love the colour as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start on the second sleeve, and I'm basically doing the same, what was it again, cable cast on that I used for the main like body portion of the jumper. So I'm just going to do this for like 10 rows and then it's just stockinette stitch for the majority of the sleeve and then shaping up the armhole. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit of what's going on. But yeah, basically we viewed two houses on Saturday. One was quite expensive and we knew kind of that it wasn't for us, but we figured, you know what, we'll give it a look and see what the crack is, see if we would maybe go for it. But yeah, no, it wasn't just exactly what we were looking for. I think there were quite a lot of niggles that we were like, oh okay, this isn't great, especially for what they're asking. So we just left it at that. And then the second house we viewed, which it's like when we saw the pictures we were like, oh my god, this is exactly what we want. Like the style, everything was just what we would want to do to a house, so it would be perfect. We wouldn't have to do anything to it, and we saw it and we absolutely loved it. And we did put in an offer on Monday, but I was just really anxious about it all because I was just scared that like maybe, you know, someone else would put in an offer and then it would be higher or something. I don't know. I was just still very, very hopeful that like things would work out really well. And then basically Tuesday rolls around and I got a call from the estate agent in the evening just when I was about to wrap up work. And she basically called us to let us know that there has also been another offer besides ours, and we are first time buyers, so we're not in a chain, which is usually like a really good thing if you're wanting to buy, because, you know, people don't have to wait until you have to sell your house kind of thing. So we figured, you know, maybe that will give us a bit more of an edge, but then it turns out that the other couple that has put in an offer is also a first-time buyer. So what they've done now is they've basically put in a closing date, so we won't know if we have the house or not until Tuesday next week. So it's a long ass time to wait until you know anything, but also at the same time the agent let us know that there were more people interested in the property, and this time we actually went above asking price by quite a way, not to the point where we're like, okay, we still needed to have like a little bit of a buffer in case, like, you know, something goes wrong, or, you know, for fees and things like that. So we've basically now contacted our solicitor and basically told him like, hey, up the offer for our side by this much and we'll see. But I'm just not hopeful. I think yesterday after that call I was very gutted and I cried a lot because, I don't know, I just loved that house so much that, yeah, now I just feel a little bit deflated again. I'm just so exhausted with this process where, like, you know, you see something, you like it, you go there, it's a long ass drive, and then like you put in an offer, you think, like, you start thinking about, oh, where I'm gonna do this, or what, like, where I'm gonna place all this stuff, or like what are the, I don't know, light fixtures and things that I can get. And I was really trying not to get too excited like I did with the last one, but I think I got even more excited this time because I loved that place so much. And now I feel like, I don't know, I feel shattered because, yeah, I don't know, the place just is exactly what we were wanting and it's perfect, but I'm very afraid that we won't get it because, I mean, God knows with how many people were like fighting to get this place. So yeah, I don't know. I'm having a great time. So yeah, I'm just going to try and finish this sleeve as fast as possible because I want to get this sorted, because me and Ali will be seeing Ali's parents over the weekend. So yeah, I want to get this video out for you guys. But yeah. This is so depressing. Anyway, I will just finish this ribbed edge and I will see you guys later this evening with some more progress. But yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like this video has been like, it went up, like it was, I feel like it was quite bubbly at the start and I feel like now it just took a nosedive. But yeah, I'll see you guys later this evening.
Everybody's got a problem that they don't know how to solve. Like life don't make no sense at all. And everybody feels something that nobody feels. Hurting takes a
So I have this little ritual in the evening where I make myself a cup of tea and I let Freya out for the last time on the day. But this sort of helps me to turn off my brain a little bit and prepare to unwind, especially on days where I am mentally struggling a little bit. This just sort of helps me to calm down and get ready for bed.
Hurting takes some time to heal. Oh, Hey guys, so I'm trying not to speak too long because I'm sat in the garden, but I finished the stockinette portion of the second sleeve and I can now start working on the decreases to shape the armhole like I did for the first sleeve. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get this sorted and hopefully finish the jumper tonight.
Okay, I finished both sleeves and I weaved in the ends, so I don't have to do anything with that anymore, so that's great. And I did start on the duplicate stitch for the flower on the front of the jumper. Now, one thing that I would know if you're ever doing a duplicate stitch is when you see your chart, it's probably worth mapping out more or less where your stitches will be starting from, or just like an anchor point, because especially when you have a really big piece, it's just handy to just have your little stitch markers as a place of like, okay, I know that, for example, 3 or 2 stitches from the stitch marker, I have to start with the petal, and then you can just build it from there, which is just a little bit more visual for you to see what you're doing. And the duplicate stitch itself is quite easy. I mean, there's tons of like tutorials on YouTube, but basically what you do is you find your V-stitch from the stockinette, and then you go in at the bottom, and then what you do is you pull through, and then you basically follow your loop to the top, and then you go behind the loop that you've got laying on top of it, and then pull that through, and then go back through the hole where you basically came out of at the start, and there we go. That is just one complete duplicate stitch, and you just have to do that for like that whole collar section. And yeah, that's just a rinse and repeat. So let's try and finish this flower.
All the seeds we plant, every stitch you sow, and you know I won't let go.
I have finished the jumper and I'm so happy with it. I do still have to weave in some ends on the inside, but at least now I could just put it on and show you guys what the finished result is. There are some like embroidery sections here that I haven't done yet, but that's mainly because I just couldn't be arsed doing them right now. I think I've been working on this jumper for 2.5 weeks and everything has been just so up and down and hectic, and I just wanted to finish this pattern and get it done with. So I might still do the embroidery at a later point, but at the same time I kind of like this. I feel like it, with just the flower, it gives that like 70s vibe, so I quite like it. Other than that, the pattern was super nice to follow. The only thing I would say is when I was getting to the end of it, especially like sewing the bits up, there was one thing that I was just a little bit annoyed at, because it was something that I personally was dealing with when it was like midnight. But when you're sewing up the sleeves to the front and back of the jumper, it basically says you have to like match up certain rows with certain steps. And I wish when you were actually, building up the front, for example, that when you would get to row 61, for example, put in a stitch marker. It would have been such like a nice little addition that was already there, and then you didn't have to like worry about anything when it comes to sewing the pieces together. But I mean, it's a small nitpicky thing. And other than that, the way that the neckline was done was slightly different in the pattern. Like in the pattern it said sew up one side here on the top and then pick up the stitches for the neckline, do the neck and then sew this last bit, but I didn't do it like that. I sewed up both the top, like on this side and on this side, and then I just went around, picked up the stitches, and I only did about I think 11 rows instead of 13, so that I could roll it more on the inside so that it had a bit more of a chunky feeling instead of like a longer one, because I'm more intending to wear this on colder summer evenings. I don't want the turtleneck to be too high, so that's what I changed. And other than that, the pattern is great. I enjoyed it. There were just some like tiny little bits that I would have maybe done differently, but I can't recommend it. And then the only other thing to note is, so the wool that you get with the kit is super nice. It's nice to wear and it's fine to work with. But what I did find is I wish I didn't use this to seam up one of the sleeves. So I did sew this side up with the yarn that came with the kit, and I just found, because it's not as tightly woven, when I was pulling it through to create a nice clean mattress stitch, over time when I was getting near the end of it, it was basically starting to slowly pull apart, and it did snap on me at one point, so I had to just reinforce the sleeve on this side. So what I did for basically this sleeve and the remainder of just sewing all of this up was I just used a white Aran that I had laying around, and that did just fine. So yeah, other than that, I loved working with this pattern. I'm really happy with the end result. I know this video has been all over the place and probably quite long, but I hope you had a good time watching this one, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!